Hello, my hard-working students, and welcome back to one of my videos. This is Roxana, your online maths tutor, and these videos are especially great for those of you who struggle with maths, who have learning difficulties and need to see things visually and broken down into small steps. Okay, so today we're going to look at how to add fractions and how to subtract them. And we're going to start with very simple fractions. So here's a visual. We have 1/3 plus 1/3. So basically we have this side here and we have this side. And when we put them together, let's just get a green. When we put them together, we're going to have one here, we're going to have one here. So looking at that, we're going to think about how to read that fraction. And that fraction, we read it as 2/3. Which means that if you look at the two fractions and what happened to get the final answer, you notice that the denominator of the fraction is the same. Okay, so the bottom stays the same and the top numbers are added together, because if they were multiplied, you would have 1. Okay, so you add the top numbers and you copy the bottom number. But you can only do that if the numbers on the bottom are the same, because it means that the size of the slices of pizza is actually the same. Yeah? So let's look at the next one. Here you have 2/5 plus 1/5. So here I'm going to color 2 from here and another one from here. So that gives me 3/5 slices. Okay? So that means that the 5 is copied along and the 2 is added with the 3. Okay? Then here, maybe you want to pause and think about how you would do this by yourself. Here you can either color it in, or you can just use the method that you just discovered here, where you just copy the number on the bottom, but only if it's the same. And then you add the 2 with the 4, and that gives you 6. And we didn't have to color it anymore. And here we have the 15. We have 15 and we add the 2 with the 11. So that gives us 13. Okay? Those are the answers. And here is an activity. I want you to pause the video and to do this in your book, because now you should be able to do this without visually seeing it. Okay, just a quick reminder. When you have a fraction like this, added the denominator, because it's repeating, we're gonna just copy it, and the numerators, the top numbers, we add them together. Okay, so get to work, pause the video, and I'm gonna give you the answers in a bit. Okay, and I am back. Here, I'm just going to quickly show you how to do the subtraction, because I didn't show you. When you have to subtract numbers, you use the same rules. You copy the 5. You don't take away 5 from 5. You copy the 5, and then here you have 3 minus 1. That leaves you with 2, okay? And in here, you have 25, which is just the denominator, which you copy, and then you do 16 minus 9, which gives you 7. Okay, 7/25. That's it. Okay. So I hope you managed to do this right. If you got stuck here, you can still pause the video and try to have a go at this before I give you the answers. And the answers are as follow. Here are your answers. You can pause the video again to mark, and we're going to move on now. 3 plus 1/4. Okay? Now, we can't add these two together because they have different denominators. But can you think of a number that divides by 3 and by 4? You have a few of them. You have 12, you have 60, you have 120. You need to find the smallest one possible that you can possibly think of, okay? Now, the quickest way to find a number that divides by these is by multiplying them. You can times them with each other. You can do, okay, well, a number that divides by 3 and 4 is a number that you find when you do 3 times 4. 3 times 4 is 12, so it means if you divide the 12 by 3, you'll get 4. If you divide 12 by 4, you get 3. Okay? So what I'm going to do in order to get that 12, I'm going to say, well, to make this into a 12, I'm going to have to times it by 4. And I also need to do the same here, because these are equivalent fractions. If you don't know what equivalent fractions are, then you need to go and watch a video with equivalent fractions, okay? 4 times by 3 gives me 12. It means I have to do the same here as well, just because these are on the same fraction, both of them. And now I just have to work things out. 1 times 4 is 4, and 3 times 4 is 12, plus 3 times 1 is 3, 4 times 3 is 12. Yeah, so now I have both of these fractions. Now they look different, but they're actually the same amount. They just look, imagine like a person who changes their clothes, but they're actually the same person, okay? So that's how this fraction turned into this one. They're called equivalent fractions. They look different, but they're actually the same number, the same value. Okay, so how do we solve this now? Well, we just learned before that if you have fractions that have the same denominator, you copy the denominator and then you add the top numbers, the numerators. Okay, that's how we do it. I'm going to give you one more example. Okay, this time I am going to think of 2/5 and 1/7. Okay, now 5 and 7, they don't really have anything in common, so the only way you can find the number, the quickest way you can find a number that divides by 5 and 7 is by multiplying them with each other. Okay, you multiply them and you get 35. It means your first fraction should have the denominator 35 and your second fraction as well, 35. Yeah, so what do we do here to make this into a 35? Well, 5 times 7 gives me 35. But because I have a fraction and not just a simple number, I can't just multiply by 7 here because I'm going to change the number. So I need to multiply it here as well. Then 2 times 7 is 14. And then for this fraction, my 7 turned into 35. So it means, how do we get from 7 to 35? We times by 5. And because I did that here, I also need to do it here. So I'm going to do, this is already done, and 5 times 1 is 5. So those are my new fractions, and now I need to add those up. 35, because we copied the denominator, and 14 plus 5 is 19. Okay? If you have a subtraction, you do exactly the same thing. You just copy the sign, that is a minus, and then you take away this number from that one. Let's just have a look at a subtraction. I'm just going to make it up. 2/3 minus 1/5. Okay, so maybe not 1/5. I'm just gonna think about another number. 1 out of 11. Yeah. Okay, so here, can you think of a number that divides by 3 and 11? We can have 3 times 11 is 33, right? 33. So I'm gonna have 33 on the bottom for every single one of these numbers. Minus 33, and here this needs to be times by 11 to make it into a 33. and I do the same to the top, this needs to be multiplied by 3, and this one as well, to have 33. On the top, we have 22, because 2 times 11 is 22, minus 1 times 3 is 3. And now we have to do, the denominator is 33, and now we do 22 minus 3, which is 19. Okay, so that's how you do a subtraction. Okay, that being said, now we should be ready to move on to the next activity. Here is activity number 2. Get your pen and paper and pause the video. Okay, and now we are back. Let's have a look at the answers. Here are your answers. Make sure you mark them. Hope you did a good job and you understood what you needed to do. Okay, and that is it for today. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this lesson and I hope you understood and you got something out of it. Let me know if there's anything that didn't work for you. Write in the comments, or any suggestions you might have for future lessons. And I'm going to see you in the next video. Make sure you subscribe and like, and I'm looking forward to teaching you another topic. Bye for now.